let's get into the game yesterday. Obviously, I was there. You were here in the studio. 2-1 to Fulham. First hour was just completely horrendous. But I got to say, first and foremost, as we always start off with the fans were incredible yesterday.
I can hear them, by the way, on TV.
They really were, man. Incredible from start to finish. Look, there was at 2-0 down, there was a chant of you're not fit to wear the shirt.
I wasn't there, but I thought even when we were losing at 2-0, you could really hear the fans.
I think there was a real kind of thing yesterday where it was just like, look, we're in this situation. It doesn't matter what's happened all season. We need to just get behind the boys. We need to just drag the team through this. And they tried their best. They really did, or we did. I came back like with a sore throat. That's how much we were singing it. The atmosphere was absolutely incredible at times yesterday, and I thought it was really good. And then when we scored, for the next 10, 15 minutes after we scored, maybe even 20 minutes, it was some of the best atmosphere I've ever been in. Seriously, that's how loud our fans were. So you got to give credit to each and every fan that was in the away end yesterday, because I think you definitely did a club a service and did your best to try and kind of galvanise the team and try get their confidence levels back or anything like that. But it just, at the end of the day, it wasn't enough.
No, that's only can't put the ball in the back of the net for them. You can't defend for them, can you? And credit to the fans, because even on watching it in the studio, you could hear on the commentary, they were very loud. Throughout the whole game, they were pretty much chanting. What was it like at the end of the game? Was it, just as you expect?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird situation at the end of the game, because players come over and whoever was left in the away, and it seems like no booze, no animosity, no nothing, just clapping. At the end of
When in Fulham.
I promise you, yeah, it was weird, because if you hadn't watched the game and you just walked in for that moment when the players come over, you would have thought like we got a result or something. Like, it was a very strange situation.
Did Igor come over?
I don't know. I didn't even see Igor come over. I saw a few of the players come over, and then I see Vicario come over. And as he apologised to the fans, I was like, "Fuck this! I'm out of here, man. Can't see another apology."
Vicario, I swear, how many apologies has he made this season, Vicario, to the fans, just standing up, hand up like that? In terms of what the feeling was like, so you're saying there was a lot of support, right? Because a lot of games this season, we've been saying, fans just need to, through freaking film, just need to support the team, blah, blah, blah.
To be fair, that is mainly aimed at the home crowd. Like, the away crowd usually do turn up in their numbers and turn up with their voices week in, week out. But this game yesterday did seem a bit different. It did seem louder than usual.
I get that. So do you think that just comes from the fact that the situation is so bad now, like there's no time for toxicity kind of at the moment?
I think so. Look, at the end of the day, if we're standing in the away and berating these players and being toxic and all this kind of stuff, like, it doesn't help anyone. And look, we saw yesterday, atmosphere is not enough to drag us through. We need to see a lot more on the pitch, and these players need to take a lot of accountability. The manager, everything needs to be accounted for. But we know as fans, there's only one thing that we can do to help the team, and that is sing our hearts out for the players, and hopefully they can respond. And I think the fans definitely did their job yesterday.
In terms of the lineup, what was your reaction when you saw that?
When I saw the lineup, I don't know, man. I was just like, what are we doing here?
It was a very peculiar thing, because Sky Sports showed a clip before the game of Van de Ven, Dragoshin and Porro set up in a back three in the warm-up. And they were doing this, they were practicing, stepping up and going back and catching people offside, which, by the way, I don't think we ever saw once. But anyway, you see that. And yet, when it started, it seemed to be a back four, because that back three, there was no Gray there.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, that's going to be the back three. It's going to be Gallagher and Gray wing backs. But then when the game started, it seemed to be a back four with Gallagher, Simmons out wide, and two out, like a 4-4-2 kind of formation. So I was very, very confused, because I think, if anything, on the ball, it was maybe a back three, and off the ball a back four. But I didn't understand that warm up that we saw. We didn't see it once during the game, so I didn't understand what the point of that was.
When I saw the lineup, I thought it was just going to be back three of Dragoshin, Van de Ven, and Paulinia, Archie Gray left wing back, and Porro right wing back. I was hoping when I saw the lineup, maybe even a Van de Ven at left wing back, but that obviously would have left Archie Gray at centre back. But I was hoping, because if you have Van der Ven at left wing back and Porro at right wing back, at least that gives us a bit of width and two players that can contribute things going the other way in the attack. But I think what played out in front of us, I think it was 11 men on the pitch that didn't know the roles, didn't know what they were doing. A team that was completely bereft of confidence, a team that couldn't make any sort of pass to a man in black. Players just willy-nilly just hitting the ball out of play for no apparent reason.
Must be a record yesterday.
Like, seriously, how many times did that happen? There was one moment, Vicario has it in our own half and he just hits it. He just smashes it out of play for no reason. Paulinho goes for like he has the ball. He literally has the ball, and for some reason he goes for some sliding tackle, and that goes out of play.
He'd rather slide tackle than pass it.
I mean, ridiculous. I couldn't believe what I was watching yesterday. It's like, what is going on? Like, seriously, like, we can't even do any sort of fundamentals.
But just quickly, in terms of the lineup and the setup, obviously in hindsight it was horrible. Like, no, as you say, no one knew what they were doing. I thought Simmons was absolutely like a ghost on that left-hand side. Anonymous, wasn't getting involved in the game. Gallagher on the right-hand side was tragic. He didn't do anything either going forward or back. Gray was completely exposed. The front two were not combining. No one was passing it to Basuma or Paulinho down the middle as well. The whole thing was a shit show. But, you know, is there anything you would, obviously in hindsight you'd maybe do something different, but like, where do you think he went wrong truly in that lineup? Was it just the formation? Was it who he picked? Like, for me, if you're going to go 4-4-2, you can't have Xavi out wide on the left. You have to have Tel. You have to have a winger, and also you should try and fit Sousa in, who came on and did quite well in this game. I thought Gray was awful.
Like, yeah, fine, I agree with you. Like, obviously, you can't have Xavi out on the left. You can't have Gallagher on the right.
And Gallagher on the right, yeah.
Gallagher was appalling, man. Like, how can you play a flat 4-4-2 with Xavi on the left and Gallagher on the right? That is exactly where he went from. It made us completely nullified. Like, we couldn't do anything.
You're playing a system which is 4-4-2, so you need your wingers to be getting forward, putting crosses in basically into Moani and Solanke. That's basically seemed to be the goal. Yet we couldn't get forward at all down the wing, and we couldn't get forward at all down the middle. We were just resorted to going long to Moani and Solanke, and especially Moani every time was getting absolutely bodied and bullied by Bassi, and he just wasn't up for it. You saw as soon as he lost the ball, he's like, I'm giving up on this, I can't be asked.
Yeah,
like, he just couldn't
and
be
if
asked.
he had any chance to get it, he would just foul the opposition anyway.
Yeah, and he was giving away fouls. Yeah, it was just lazy.
Seriously, the whole thing was just absolutely disgusting to watch. It really was.
And Jed Spence, is he injured again now?
Apparently so, yeah. Because he said he was injured, yeah.
He came back too soon against Newcastle, where he looked completely not fit. What was the other game? Then North London Derby he plays, but whatever, he wasn't great, and now he's injured again. So was he brought back too early? Might be. Because I'm pretty sure it was a calf injury he was out with, and now he's got a calf injury again, so he must have been rushed back.
Yeah. Look, it's just a sorry state of affairs that Tottenham are in, and it's just like, when you're looking at this team, I don't see anything. Like, at least if you lose a game, right, you can take losing games, even in the situation that we're in. If you actually see something on the pitch, you say, you know what? I've seen something today that shows me that these players are willing to fight, that shows me that these players have something in them to go again next week and actually get a result. But there's nothing. There's literally nothing in any part of our performance that shows me that Spurs are able to get out of the mess that we're in. In fact, all it looks as though we're getting deeper and deeper into this mess. Like, that first hour was one of the worst hours of football I've ever seen, and we've seen some fucking tragic hours of football. But, you know, at this stage of a season, especially with a new manager bounds. Igor's always got a tune out of them when he first goes to a club. You expect to see some sort of improvements, at least slight improvements.
They look lost.
There's been no improvements whatsoever. Nothing.
They look lost. They look confused about what exactly they were doing. It's very similar to what we were saying about, I remember there was a bit during the season when Frank was playing with his crazy formations. Yeah. And in fact, funnily enough, it was against Fulham, where it was really, in the home game, where it really became apparent, like, what formation is he playing? What is he doing? The players didn't know where to be. And it seemed the same here. Like, are they playing a back three? Are they playing a back four? Is Xavi on the left? Is he tucked inside? You know, in the warm-up they're doing a back three, but on the game they're doing a back four, and they just seemed all confused. In terms of the passing ability and a pan to play, it was non-existent. It was just nothing there. The technical ability on some of these players is absolutely shambolic. Some of them is so woeful, some of the technical ability they have. And I think the worry for Tottenham is it's right down the spine of the team where it is. You got Vicario, Dragishin and Paulinho, who none of them can pass the ball forward. You know, there's a passing map of Vicario. Every pass forward he made was unsuccessful. Every single one, which is crazy. I know he's a goalkeeper, but, you know, how are you supposed to be able to progress the ball when you got a goalkeeper who's passing it out of play every 2 seconds? You got a centre back who's too scared to look forward, and he also puts it out of play. And then you got Paulinho, who'd rather slide tackle than pass. It's absolutely atrocious, this whole thing. And I think that, you know, we had no width, we had nothing down the middle. The whole thing was just a complete mess. And you're thinking, okay, we can't really do much on the ball, but at least off the ball, look alive, look proactive. And I think that they started the game looking to press, but the thing is, they're doing this man-to-man press. And as soon as the thing was, when you're doing man-to-man, you have to be tight, intense, following your man everywhere, not giving him an inch of space. That's how man-to-man works. As soon as they get a bit of space and one guy drops off, then all of a sudden the spaces open up everywhere, because all of a sudden someone else has to pull away from their man to get to the player that's free, and the whole thing breaks down. And constantly players are just missing the mark. They're a second late. They're giving too much space. Then there's spaces opening up absolutely everywhere. Basuma looked all at sea. Paulinho. How much space Smith Rowe was getting in that number 10 position. Iwobi was having a field day because he's actually not a bad dribbler, so he can take a pass to play, and bam, all the space opens up for him. They have Oscar Bob on one side, Wilson. Everyone was just getting so much joy. They were popping it around us like there was no tomorrow. And the thing is, they didn't even have to work that hard to do it. I don't think Fulham were like, don't get me wrong, Fulham were on a different level to us yesterday. But I didn't look at them thinking, wow, they're just so good, we can't do anything. It was just like, we were so kind of passive. We just weren't able to get in their faces, weren't able to ruffle any of their feathers. We were just allowing them to play their football, and they were popping it around us. It was so easy for them to pop it around us and create openings. And, you know, they didn't have to create too much to get the goals they did.
Yeah, look, I think Paulinho was horrible on the ball. But what I would say about Paulinho, at least I think he was the only one on the pitch for us that was even trying to pick up any sort of second balls. The rest of the team...
Second balls is when he gives the ball away, he has to win it back. That's usually how it works.
It's true, but I mean... You look at the players just look so lazy on the pitch. There were just no fighters, no one trying to pick up second balls, no one trying to press, no one being aggressive. It was just like, it seems as though these players have just accepted their fate and that's it. Like, where is the passion? Where is the fight? Where is the knowing of the situation that you're in? You know, you've got 3,500 Spurs fans absolutely singing their hearts out from the stands, and the players are not putting in an ounce of effort. That's what it feels like, and that's what it looks like.
Especially when you look at that second goal. Statues just watching the football just get popped around.
That's exactly the word I used on my post-match reaction.
You know, Harry Wilson drops into the space. Both defenders just leave him. Okay, let him pick up the ball. Solanke watches Iwobi just run past him. Iwobi, I know it's a good strike, and albeit he's side-footed it from outside the box. That should be, I mean, it wasn't the most power. I know it's in off the post, but... You know, it was just like we just watched it all unfold without anyone thinking of intervening. Anyone thinking, taking responsibility, okay, I'm going to go to him. He's my man. Like, everyone just watching it all play out. And it was shambolic. But the first goal, you have to say, I think we did get a bit screwed with that one, to be honest.
We got massively screwed, not a bit screwed. We got massively screwed. After what happened last week in the North London derby, to allow that goal is an absolute disgrace. And you know what? Look, we don't have anything to complain about, let's be honest, because of the way we played. We deserved to lose, and we deserved to lose heavily. But the fact of the matter is that when you're down at the bottom, things just go against you, and things are going against us massively with these referees at the moment. It happened yesterday. The exact same thing with Arsenal and Gabriel. They get the goal. We don't get the goal. A couple of weeks ago with Cuti Romero, he gets sent off. Same challenges happen that week. They don't get sent off. So, I mean, it's massively going against us in terms of the refereeing decisions, and it's just the last thing we need right now with what we're showing on the pitch. Because, look, the reality is we probably would have lost whether that goal goes in or not. It doesn't really make a difference, but it's just a story, isn't it?
But also, being 1-0 down after 7 minutes doesn't help the situation, does it? And it puts those negative thoughts and negative mindset back into the players, which are clearly on their knees at the moment when it comes to confidence and kind of energy. And as soon as you start losing, especially when there's a bit of an injustice like it was, it doesn't help. I'm not saying it was the reason, because obviously when you're in these situations, these are the kind of challenges you do have to overcome if you're going to get yourself out of it. It doesn't matter if there's a goal unfairly against you, or maybe there was a foul not given somewhere, or maybe there's a penalty you should have had. At the end of the day, these are the challenges that a lot of clubs have to put up with, and you have to overcome. That's part of football. But it was so frustrating watching it, looking at it was a carbon copy. In fact, I think it was much more of a clear push than last week against Moani. Moani lightly brushed Gabriel's back and he goes flying. There was clearly two-handed push by Jimenez where Dragusin was literally about to head the ball away, and he actually takes him physically out of the path of the ball and ends up winning the header. I think it definitely was more of a foul and should have been ruled out. VAR should have intervened. It was a clear and obvious error, and I think Tottenham and Dragusin definitely have a massive right to feel aggrieved with that goal allowing to stand and just set the tone for the game. So I was furious, and I could see it happening before my eyes, because I knew the referee on this occasion on the pitch didn't give the goal. Sorry, gave the goal. Last week he didn't give the goal, and because VAR has a high bar, they're not going to overturn it. So we're beholden to the referee's decision. Whereas last week, even though it probably wasn't a foul, it gets given a foul, and even though this week it was a foul and it's not given a foul because basically the referee just got it wrong on the pitch, and the VAR decided it wasn't a clear and obvious error. Infuriating, absolutely infuriating, and I think Tottenham have a right to feel aggrieved. But after that, the reaction to the goal was tragic. 2-0 at half-time was, more than fair. And they could have, the only lucky bit we got was those opening 20 minutes of the second half. They could have easily taken that game away from us, and it should have been 3 or 4 at that point. Smith Rowe missing 2 gilt-edged chances. We were just basically on our knees waiting to it looked like we were just waiting for Fulham to score the third goal so we could finally just give up any hope. Didn't happen, and then we make some subs and we slightly got back in the game for a bit before I thought we were back in the game for about 5-10 minutes, and then Marco Silva made some subs and it kind of took the momentum away from us a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it's maybe a bit worse to what we've seen all season, but in terms of the narrative, in terms of Spurs, show up for a 5-10 minute spell, we've been seeing that all season. All season we've been seeing that, where we've been able to look okay in a 5-10 minute spell during a course of 90 minutes. Sometimes we've lost the game, sometimes we've drawn the game, sometimes we've even won the game. But we don't deserve anything out of any of those games. That's the honest truth of it. And this game highlighted that tenfold. Matty's Tell came on, looked like he wanted it at least, looked like he started having a go at the opposition. Richarlison as well. Those two players, at least, they looked up for the fight. That's all I can say. I thought those two, no one else looked up for the fight. I would say maybe Pedro Porro. He was probably our best outfield player on the day when from the starting lot. At least he was looking up for it and trying to try and put a few crosses in. But apart from Pedro Porro from the starting 11, all of them were embarrassing. Vicario, embarrassing. Dragusin, embarrassing. Van de Ven, embarrassing. Van de Ven, this Van de Ven, he's got such shit around him. He's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to go on my own and see what. And then he ends up losing the ball. It's not doing us any favours. And he keeps getting caught out of possession and out of position. And the whole thing is just a mess. There is no one that can sit there and comfortably say, you know what, I'm proud of what I'm producing on the pitch. Conor Gallagher, what the hell does he even bring to this team? He's our top paid player at this football club, and he's absolute dross from what we're seeing. Why
are we playing on right wing though? It's crazy. I don't understand why.
Even when he's in the centre mid, he does nothing. Moani and Solanke did absolutely nothing. They are embarrassing as well. Every single player we have is just showing nothing to warrant the fight that we're in. We need warriors right now. And we've got people that are just laying down and letting us get battered in games. No fight, no intent, no aggression, no even ability to even fight for a second ball or play a 5-yard pass. All we've got is people that are hiding. Every single one of our players right now are hiding behind each other.
And it just goes to show as well with Tell coming on the pitch, as you say, He fought for the ball, protected it well. And just for one moment, he was like, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to take Tete on. I'm going to go down the line, bring Gray into the game. Just actually be a bit positive and forward thinking and just do what most wingers would, what Tell did for the goal. When you watch most Premier League games, you probably don't even notice it because it happens so often what he did. It's just a bit of positivity. You take on your man, you get your team up the pitch. But because it's so rare for us to have seen a player do that for us, especially in recent weeks, but a lot of the season, just to see a player with a bit of positivity, drive at his fullback and just force the opposition back a bit and, create an opening. We're like watching it, lauding it, like, wow, look, Tell actually took someone on. Whereas that should be the norm. What Tell did should happen 10 times a game for our wingers. But it's happening once, and we're all going, wow, what a brilliant piece of play. When that should be happening all the time. I don't understand what Tell needs to do to start games more regularly. My point being, it was just a little bit of positivity, and it got Fulham on the back foot for a second. And it didn't take much. Fulham were nothing special yesterday. Fulham are a solid mid-table team. Don't get me wrong, they're a decent outfit. They're not a bad team, but they could be got at very easily. They're not this brilliant team. We were our own downfall. We were our own worst enemy yesterday because we just refused to take the game to them, refused to be positive, refused to have players to drive at them. That everyone was scared, always backwards or going long. No one had the balls or the bravery to just go at them a bit. And as soon as Tell came on, literally just for one moment, we get a goal out of it. It was that easy. It was a very simple goal. And that's all it took. But because we're so seldom of confidence in this team, we only managed a moment in the game, and that was it pretty much. And it's just crazy to think how little we've got when it comes to players just taking responsibility like Tell did in that moment. That should be commonplace.
The reality is, when you're looking at us against our opposition, West Ham lost 5-2 on the weekend, right? And they showed so much more in a 5-2 loss than we did in a 2-1 loss against Fulham.
They're much better than us.
These teams are showing the ability to fight for the cause, to fight for the football club, to fight for the fans, to fight for themselves. This is what I've said. I've said to you on a number of occasions now, if they don't want to be at this club, if they don't want to play for this manager, if they don't want to play for the club, whatever, but at least have a bit of personal pride about you to go on the pitch and actually fight for yourselves and show that you're not this relegation fodder team that everyone says you are. We've stuck up for these players time and time again this season saying, you know what, us as a squad, we've got a lot more quality than we're showing. We've stuck by that statement week on week this season. We've said this is a top 7 team at minimum where this team should be. Well, right now, with what they're showing on the pitch, they are the worst team in this league right now. The worst team. Worse than Wolves, worse than West Ham, worse than Burnley. Burnley showed in the game on the weekend, they go 3-0 down, they'll fight for the cause and they'll get back in the game. Yeah, fine, they ultimately lost the game. But they showed a bit of spirit and fight and belief. Spurs are showing none of those traits at all. And that is the thing that hurts the most about the situation that we're in. Because you can't be in the situation where if you don't have heart and you don't have fight and you don't have spirit to get yourself out of this situation, you will not get out of it. You won't. That is the main thing that is going to get us out of this situation, is a bit of fight and belief. And it looks as though that is completely devoid out of these players.
Well, the reality is that's the minimum you need to get out of the situation.
Yeah.
That alone isn't enough. You need that plus of quality and whatever, all this kind of stuff. And it's we don't even have that bare minimum at the moment, which is leading us to being at the moment, especially in 2026, the worst team in the league.